People of your age back then, from 16 to, I mean, all the way through their 20s, some even in their 30s, will try to start agencies. Naturally, the vast majority will never
Mm.
even make more than a couple thousand. Why do you think you, as a 17-year-old, were able to have the success in that business model in particular?
I feel it because it was one that wasn't dependent on something. You know, it was dependent on you really. That's all it was. The only dependency or reliance you that the business model had to do well was you. The business was you. And I feel like with stuff like drop shipping and other businesses like that, it's dependent on the platforms a lot. So if you get, for example, banned on something like a Facebook account, then you're finished. But for me, the agency stuff wasn't really dependent on anything. It was really just the work you put in. And obviously as well, I was lucky that I realized the way that the gurus or people on YouTube were teaching us to do the business model in terms of exactly how to do outreach and sign clients, just wasn't working. And I never like just trust. I stopped trusting them. If that made sense. I stopped looking at what they were doing and like trying to just kept doing it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out for myself how I can sign clients. And luckily, I did come across a way that I could do it, and it worked really well back then. I just kept rinsing every single day. All my work every single day was just doing that, doing that, doing that. And also, like my routine was extremely dialed. Like when I was 17 in high school, I was waking up for like 6 a.m., going to the gym, walking to the gym before school when it was freezing cold, going to the gym for like an hour till 7. Then like, I was in the pure gym in Scotland. Then having a shower, walking to school, doing school. And I'd perceive my days as like I'd have 2 days in one. So I'd have my first day in school, just get it done. I didn't care about school at all. I hated it. Then when I finished school at 4 p.m., I'd come back home and like restart my day. I have like another 5, 6 hours to live my day. So I'd have a cold shower again and like maybe like a small workout, and then start my work. And my work, to be honest, just consisted when I was actually doing what needs to be done and not like procrastinating. I was just doing the outreach every single day in the way that I found out to do it, and it just eventually started kicking in. I got my first client for £400, next one for 1K, next one for 5K. It just kept compounding to where I had like maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 clients, and I was like 10K a month.
But even that takes us to starting,
Yeah.
because 17, you're looking for ways to make money online. I'm assuming you go through the YouTube rabbit hole of
Mhm.
all these different business models that you can start out. What made you land on agency?
So obviously, yeah, I was searching on YouTube every day for months. I think when I turned 17, December 2019, from that day onwards, I was on YouTube every single day in my room, just searching on YouTube, watching every single video about every single business model online, how to make money online, how to start a business, how to get rich, all those search terms on YouTube. And yeah, months of doing that, I looked into every business model that existed, but I never really aligned with stuff like Amazon FBA or drop shipping or trading because a big thing for me as well is that I always knew that I wanted to be respected as like a business owner. I wanted to be like a big businessman. That's what I thought when I was 17. So I never thought that a business like drop shipping or trading would ever get me there. I wanted to be able to tell people what I do and for them to respect that. And for me to also be proud of what I'm doing too. So the agency, the way that I was sold it anyway, by the guys that were kind of pushing it the most back then, I was sold that it was a business that you don't need any money to start, which obviously I didn't have any money anyway. I never got like Christmas money or birthday money when I was young. So I had literally 0 in the bank account. So obviously for me, investing was not even an option. So for me, it was a business where didn't need any money, didn't need to be good at anything, just needed to kind of follow the process, find somebody like a freelancer to fulfill the service. And then, yeah, you're going to make money. So I said, this is perfect. I actually remember the feeling and the thoughts I was having when that happened for me, when I actually watched that main video that a guy put out, breaking down the business model, and then realized it was actually something I could do. For the first time, I felt so excited. And I remember telling my parents about that, and then straight away they just shut it down. They just like, this is a scam, wherever else. And yeah, but that didn't push me away from it. I feel like I didn't let anybody else's opinions really like stop me. Obviously, I also went to my friends as well, told them, there's a business you can start, and the only response was, why would a business owner pay a 17-year-old anything? You're never going to get any customers or clients. But even that, from that day onward, I just didn't tell anybody anything. So I just kept it to myself. And I just kept going. I didn't get started quick. It took me a few months, but those few months, I just learned everything about the business model, learned everything about what I could on YouTube, and I eventually got started. It was a slow start, but when it really kicked in terms of me doing the work that was actually needed to be done, not just like some random stuff like my website or thinking of my offer. When I actually did the work to get clients and do it properly, I figured out how I could do it, how I could like do it in a way that actually got me the results I wanted to have, like sending clients. Obviously, what I was being taught on YouTube wasn't really working at all. But through doing that and trying that for months, I was quite pessimistic for a couple of months, to be honest. I thought I was going to quit. But I luckily came across a guy that was kind of became a big brother of mine on Facebook, in a Facebook group. And he said to me, you know, he was kind of in the position that I would want to be in when it comes to my agency, doing quite well. He was like mid-20s, early 20s. And he said to me, bro, don't give up. You know, like, you know, your goal is 10K a month by when you turn 18, you'll hit that a couple months before that at least. And I was like, damn, for the first time in my life, obviously, I didn't tell anybody about my business other than these guys in the Facebook group. So they were the only ones in the world that actually knew that I was running a business or starting a business. So to have that, I guess, sense of accountability where this guy is telling me that I can do this, and he's saying to me, yeah, just report back to me, bro, like every couple of weeks, let me know how you're getting on the group calls that they had in that free community. I felt like I had somebody to talk to, at least to begin with, you know? And that gave me that sense of accountability to where I then put in the work to figure it out. And as soon as I did that, you know, within a couple of months, that's when I hit my first 10K month. So it was like maybe 4 months, 3 months, 4 months before my actual birthday or before my actual goal. And there was also a couple of things that I had to let go of. One of the massive things that I remember was the importance that I put on this 10K month number. There were obviously a lot of guys who start online businesses, that's their main number they want to hit. Obviously, that was the same as me. And I put so much importance around 10K a month that I had a fear unknowingly about the number. And when I understood that and learned that and realized that and then let go of it, and I cared more about the inputs that I was putting in rather than the output, that's when everything changed, really. It was actually really quick, to be honest. Within like a couple of months, I looked at my bank account one time and I was like, yeah, 10K is coming from this month. So yeah, that's when it all started.
17, 18, 19, you're already doing things that some people will never get to experience in their lives. So my question to you is, what do you think is the key one or two things that you had going for you in your youth that you either did or came naturally to you that helps explain the success you had as early as you did?
Yeah. So there's two main things I feel when I can look back. One is to do with me and one's to do with my parents. So when it comes to me, ever since I can remember, honestly, bro, 13, 14, I always wanted to find a way to make money. And I never wanted to just be normal in that sense, where I would just like, you know, not care about money, not care about doing something and just play Xbox my whole life and, you know, go to university when eventually when that comes in 5 years' time when I was 13. I was remember asking my dad when I was like 12, 13, you know, how can I start doing like paper runs? You know, I was like, how can I make some money in some way? Like, I was asking, like, how can I get a job anywhere? It's like, no one was going to hire you when you're 13. And then eventually, maybe like a year later, when I was like 14, I remember I started selling sweets in school. So I would go every Sunday at 4 a.m. To this market where I grew up in Glasgow. I would find these like, you know, trucks selling like, you know, sweets they've imported. I would buy like a couple of boxes of them for like £20, put them in my bag. And then in school, break time, lunchtime, I'd be selling them, running it up. So people would come to the classroom that I was at, they'd be buying from me. And, you know, probably total lifetime revenue I made of that business before it got shut down, before everybody started to bully me, because I got bullied hard for that, you know, by the guys in my year. So eventually, when it got shut down, I think, you know, maybe total I probably made £600.
Not bad.
But yeah, so that was my first ever like attempt at making money, which was obviously I really enjoyed it when I was doing it. I loved it. You know, that was like for me. I've never enjoyed school. I've never really liked any subject. If you're going to ask me, what did you enjoy most about school? There's nothing. It was actually that just selling the sweets. That was the thing that I enjoyed the most about that whole experience of school. And when it comes to like, I never, I always never really aligned with how we were being taught and what our lives were in terms of, you know, all we're doing, trying to do is study for these exams. And I realized early on, all these were just memorization tests and nothing past that. I never enjoyed any of the subjects, anything that I was getting taught. And I always knew that this is not what I'm going to be doing in life. I knew that university was not the way I wanted to go. And eventually I did come to the point of realizing that obviously going through the experience of, you know, applying to university, I realized that, you know, what I thought life may have had to be in terms of having a career, going to university, I initially thought it was going to be in computing science just for the sake of making a lot more money in that field than anything else. I didn't even realize that was just a lie. You know, what I thought my career would be. I did realize that talking to some people who had been working as a software engineer for like 25 years, they said to me, yeah, you don't really move around anywhere in terms of, you don't progress in your career. You just kind of stay in the same place. Maybe your salary gets increased by 10K after 10 or 15 years, but that's really it. So that for me, I always kind of I guess had that contrarian mindset or perception towards school and the system and the life we were prescribed. I guess we were told by society, with my parents. And when it comes to my parents, I feel like I wasn't really taught anything directly by my parents, like lessons directly by my father. But I think just the biggest lesson that he gave me was just, I saw him never giving up and always, he never had a job. So yeah, I've never seen him with a job and neither my mother either. So I was lucky in that sense where I never felt like that was my progression. That was where I should be going. You know, that's what I want to be like them. When I looked at my dad, although he never was blessed to find that, you know, extreme success with anything he was doing, any business that he started or deal that he was trying to make happen, I did see him, you know, go to China for 6 months for I don't know what he was doing there, but he was doing something. You know, travel for a long time just to try to figure something out, make a deal happen, or import something. I don't know what it was he was planning to do, but because I saw all of that, you know, from my childhood, even though we were struggling, I always knew that, you know, why should I ever have a job? And obviously, this is why I've never had a job in my life because I saw my dad being like that, and I was like, if he's like that, then I don't really feel like I want to have a job either, in that sense. So, and also that played a big part in me actually starting and like having that drive to start when I was 17. I feel like looking back, a big part of that was seeing my dad, you know, trying for so many years, and then realizing, like, really realizing that we were actually struggling financially quite a lot because we kind of had to leave our house a couple of times and move houses. And when I saw that, I was like, you know, I've seen you try for so many years now, but I know I can do it. So let me just take care of it for you now. You can kind of relax. You can rest. Let me build a business and take care of the family. That was one of the biggest drives that actually pushed me to actually really want to start when I was 17.